Thanks for watching this video. My name is Nick from Transform My Poker, and here's what this video is about. People sometimes say to me, show me your poker face, and here's what I do. Do you know what that is? That is the face of focus. Intense, passionate, red-hot focus. I don't do that. However, that's what your internal poker face should be. I want to talk to you about focus because it's an exciting opportunity for you to improve your results. That's the only reason I would ever talk to you about anything, but this is a big one. One of the biggest differences I see between professional players and players who are struggling with their results is the focus gap. It's how much attention and focus they're giving to their poker when they play it. And the great news is, A, you can almost certainly improve your focus from where you are now. B, you can do that quite quickly. And C, it involves no extra poker knowledge. You do not need any more theory to do this, and it can and will improve your results if you get better at it. It's a challenge because in our day-to-day lives, especially in the modern world, we don't focus well, right? We have a lot of distractions. When we go online, we have multitudes of distractions. We have become quite flighty, and poker kind of demands focus and concentration in the right period. So it's not easy, but you can improve it, and I want to show you how. So here's some keys to getting focused when you play, and really what this is about is playing your best possible game when you play. So the first thing is to decide to do that, and here's how I think you should do it. For most players, you should decide before you start playing whether you're playing for fun or whether you're playing seriously. So fun versus reals. And the reason for this is, I know that you're probably watching this not as a professional poker player. So poker is a hobby for you. And we want different things from our hobbies at different times. Sometimes you want to improve. Sometimes in poker you want to make money, maybe all the time. Sometimes you want to have fun. Sometimes it's a blend of the two. Here's what I would recommend. You're not always going to be fresh, focused and ready to play your best. If you're not, play for fun. Still try and win, but play lower stakes, make more bluffs and play aggressively and splashy. Maybe play a different game, like maybe if you're a cash game player, play a tournament. If you're a tournament player, play a sit and go or turbo, play Omaha. But, play something that you can have a little bit more fun with as you try and win. But don't kind of make it so that you're trying to play your best when actually you're not feeling your best or you're not into it. Because everything else I'm about to tell you in this video is how to play your very best. And you can't do that if you just want to have fun and relax or you're not in the right state. So that's step one of playing good focused poker. The next step after you've decided you're playing for real is to make it only about that. So only poker. And what I mean by that is for the time that you're playing the tournament or you're playing your session, your whole world needs to become that poker game. And the reason for that is that if you're going to bring your best to something, you need to be concentrated on it. Now, that doesn't mean you're doing the stupid focus face I did for the whole time and just exhausting yourself. But what it does mean is that you are really giving everything to play your best. TJ Cloutier once said, after I've played a big tournament, I'm exhausted physically, because I've given it everything. Now, obviously, we're sitting down when we play poker. So why is he physically exhausted? Well, just because he's brought his maximum focus and concentration to his poker. And you owe yourself that, right? Poker is a time-consuming activity. You're putting money at risk. You could be doing other things. If you're not going to give it everything, then why give it anything, is my view. And, whatever your results are right now, they're a mixture of when you've played your A game, your B game, your F game. So one of the easiest ways to improve is just to play your A game more often, because you'll just, make better decisions and win more. So commit to only being in the game and really giving it your best. So how do we do that? Well, apart from making that commitment to ourselves, we can do some things to control our environment. Control your environment. So the first way to control your environment is to make sure everybody in your life knows you're playing poker and that that's your priority for that period of time. Doesn't mean you hate your wife or you're never going to speak to your kids or you're never going to return your friend's text or anything like that. It just means that you're not going to do it in those next few hours. So it's much better for you to explain the situation to the significant people in your life and tell them that's what you're doing and why you're doing it and what your outcome that you want over the next few months from your poker is, and get them bought in and make it up to them other times, and just make sure that you're hassle-free when you play poker. Now, more immediately, there are some obvious things we can do. If we're playing online, you only want your poker software, your online client, I mean, open on your computer. You don't want 5 browser tabs, right? You don't want other things playing. I will allow some music if it helps you concentrate, but nothing with talking, and no social media when you're playing. Check it in the breaks if you have to, but that's about as far as you should go. Nothing on in the background, because this is about playing our best. When you're playing live, it's harder because there are more distractions in the room. Hello, pretty waitresses, or waiters, and there are there's a slower pace of action. So live poker is tough because there is a lot of downtime. Now, it's fine to defocus during that time. It's fine to, especially if it's a really slow game, it's the early stages or whatever, or it's a slow dealer or slow players, it's fine to switch off. You don't have to, be super focused 1,000% of the time. But you can't be watching a movie. Come on. The amount of people I've seen in live card rooms watching a film. Okay, I mean, you can watch a film anytime, but we're trying to win, aren't we? I don't quite get that. So control your environment, set yourself up to win, set yourself up to focus. The important next thing is to have periods of defocus and use breaks. Use breaks. So we're kind of not making this a fun activity anymore. We're kind of making this an Olympian, personal quest for excellence when you play poker. And you should need a come down from that. You shouldn't be able to do that for hour after hour after hour. So if you're a cash game player or a sit and go player, you need to put in your own breaks where you go away, look at something else, social media, The View, talk to someone else not about poker, just for 2 or 3 minutes, make a cup of tea or coffee, whatever it is, to switch your brain off and then switch it back on again when you start again. But make sure you use the breaks. Don't use the breaks to analyse hands, by the way. That's what everybody does. They go and talk about the hands they've just played. Fine, a little bit's fine, but at least have 2 or 3 minutes where you're not doing that so your brain can switch off and recover. This is especially important in long tournaments where you're going to have to play your best near the end. You need some of that energy to be able to do that. So use your breaks to re-energize your focus, not to continue focusing. And then finally, build up your focus. So build focus. It's very likely as you watch this video, did you drift off by the way? I hope not. Ironic. It's very likely that your focus ability, your ability to concentrate on one thing is quite lame. Sorry, it just is very likely that that's true because you probably don't have to do it in anything else in life. That's certainly true for me, probably true for you. So you need to work on it like a muscle in the gym. The good news is you can improve it quite quickly. Here's the way you do that. You get a stopwatch, you get a timer, you sit down to play some poker, doesn't matter if it's live online, and you time how long it is that you can focus on the game. And by focusing on the game, I mean your head's in the game. You're thinking about your image, your opponent's image, how your opponents are playing. You're giving your opponents ranges in hands that you're not involved in. So you're concentrating on what they're doing. See how long you can focus intensely like that for. It's probably only going to be a few minutes before your mind drifts off, your attention drifts off. Stop the timer and see where you're at. Then set yourself a goal and set alarm intervals on your phone or on a timer. So let's say you found you could focus for 4 or 5 minutes, set a 10-minute goal, okay? And just work on it as a little mini game where you're trying to focus solidly for 10 minutes. Now, this is a bit artificial because, as we've said, you don't need to focus for all of the time. You can defocus at certain times, especially when you're playing live. But if you've built that muscle, that ability to concentrate, next time you get deep in a tournament or next time you're playing, with a lot of chips on the table in cash, or when you want to add tables, or when you want to up your poker, you'll have that muscle built. It's really, really important that you can do this if you want to progress in poker. Most players' results are defined by how often they play their A game and how often they play their F game, right? So what you want to do is first of all work on improving how often, as a percentage, you're playing your best. because then your results will just magically improve, right? Because you're not having those percentages of the time where you're letting yourself down, you're not executing, you're making mistakes, and that's reducing your ability. So that's what we want to do. Work on your focus. If you take nothing else away from this video, just take away the one thing that if you play your A game more often, you will get better results without learning any more about poker. And then work on some of this stuff and you'll see it come to fruition. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Good luck with your focus at the table. Leave me a comment or a question underneath. I love to hear from you. I really enjoyed making this one. Give it a Facebook like or a share on social media so we can get other people that you like who are struggling with their poker the help. All right, take it easy. I'll talk to you again soon.